Welcome to another exciting broadcast, Sunday mornings with Enlightenism. I'm Brother Malcolm.
I'm Sister Carolyn.
And we are here to share the Enlightenism philosophy with you about a new way to think and live. A new way to think and live, folks. Sister Carolyn is going to get us started. She's an Enlightenism practitioner, teacher, and a motivator, as well as a workshop facilitator. She talks about Enlightenism and a new way to think and live. Here's Sister Carolyn to share the Enlightenism philosophy with you today about a new way to think and live. Sister Carolyn.
Thank you, Brother Malcolm. Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome.
Good morning, I am Sister Carolyn. I am an Enlightenism teacher and consciousness practitioner. And those roles I carry with me throughout my life. As a mother, as a friend, as a wife, it is in everything that I do. So I'm vested. And today I am going to introduce you to the different modalities we can use to encourage a new way to think and live. The Enlightenism philosophy for living. We believe that everyone was born whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless, and have everything that you will ever need for the journey. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can simply input this in our life and begin to understand the power that we were born with. And everyone, whether or not you accept it, you were born with everything that you will ever need for the journey. In my work career, in my socialized work career, when I was having many jobs and so on, many career changes and so on, I needed to know how much time it took for me to be vested in a 401 or a 401k or a 403. How long would it take to be vested? And of course, they would always tell me, because that was one of the things that was important for me, to secure my investments and my possessions in terms of my retirement and so on. Now, what I didn't think about at that time that I'm sharing with you now is, where was my investment for life? How was I vested? Well, I was vested in all of the notions that I had been taught. I was living in a state of lack, limitation, and struggle, but I didn't realize that. I didn't know that that's what I was doing. That I had vested myself in toxicity by doing all of the things that others told me that I needed to do to get ahead. So I didn't quite know myself, or I should say not quite, I didn't know myself. I was simply running after the tools and measures that I had been given by others. And so that's what I was vested in. I was vested in toxicity. Now, the idea of Enlightenism is to invest in clarity, to invest in compassion, to invest in grace, to invest in understanding that you are whole, perfect, and complete, And you don't have to compare yourself to anyone. When you know this, then that becomes the practice of what your life is all about. You don't have to invest in a mother as others have told you when you invest in the values of knowing that your children and everyone around you was born whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless, then you began to teach from a new model. A model that lives in compassion and grace, in forgiveness and clarity, and understanding who they are in most of life's situations. So you don't have to correct yourself because a new book came out and said, this is the way you parent. This is the way to be a good wife. This is the way to be a good friend. What I know as an Enlightenism teacher, consciousness practitioner, and just a person walking the face of the earth is that I have everything that I will ever need for the journey. And when I step outside of Enlightenism, I recognize it fully because my life is not clear and complete at that point, and I am feeling some kind of angst about who I am. With Enlightenism, the investment and the payoff, you are richly rewarded in your beingness. Whenever you show up with the grace and the talent and the tools that you have garnered from Enlightenism. We talk about a new way to think and live. And one of the things you realize when you make the investment into Enlightenism is that for so many years in your life, you've invested in a toxic model that does not produce the clarity, that does not produce the compassion, that does not produce the grace that you were looking for. When I make the statement, I am greater than the I that I created, it then becomes my willingness to unlearn the beliefs that I've invested in. Those beliefs paid off for me in hurt, anger, disparity, lack, limitation, and struggle. The investment in Enlightenism pays off with the possessions of clarity, pays off with the possessions that you have within you of knowing that you are okay. And no one can say because of the color of your skin, I need to do something for you to give you some freedom. You understand as a colorless, faceless, and formless being that there is nothing that someone can bring and free you in your life. You are born with that freedom. And when you understand the Enlightenism philosophy of understanding and knowing that you are born whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless, and you are now unlearning the toxic model that you have been vested in for so long in your life. So what I know, the payoff is clarity. The payoff is showing up whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless. The payoff is showing up in your life in every area. And when it is not showing up, one of the things about Enlightenism, no one has to tell you. You understand that you are not showing up the way you desire to be. You understand yourself in a story. You understand who you are when you are telling a story of your life. The idea of Enlightenism is to invest. It is an investment into your beingness. It is an investment in yourself. And you come out fully vested, using the value system that makes you whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless, and understanding that you have everything that you will ever need for the journey. I encourage you, as I do every Sunday, to get your copy of Enlightenism. You can get this through Enlightenism, or you can go to our website, the Bi Society, and purchase Enlightenism and some of our other books, The New African American Man, Seeds from the Ashes, and Let There Be Life. I encourage you to invest in Enlightenism, a new way to think and live. And now it's time for Brother Malcolm. And so Brother Malcolm is here. He is the creator and philosopher of Enlightenism. Brother Malcolm.
Thank you so much, Sister Carolyn.
You're quite welcome.
For getting us started. Before you leave, I just want to say to all of you that at this stage of our lives, we're still doing the work of enlightenment.
Absolutely.
Some of you may ask why. Well, we've chosen not to sit on the sideline, be complainers about what's happening in our lives,
Absolutely.
what's happening in other people's lives, to be judging other people. We have decided that Enlightenism is a new way to think and live. And we want to do this work to share it with other people so that you become involved in your own life, solving your own problems with the power that you have. And you have the greater power of God within you.
Thank you, Brother Malcolm.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
Sister Carol.
clarifying that.
Okay, folks, I'm Brother Malcolm to share a few words with you today. A few insights on Enlightenism, my favorite topic. The greater power of God is within you and within me. It exists as consciousness. It is consciousness, whole, perfect, and complete, colorless, faceless, and formless. When we believe we are powerless, then we are powerless. If you believe you're a slave, then you are a slave. If you believe that you're being oppressed, then you are. Because that's what the mind is saying to you. The greater power is outside of you. That other people have the greater power in the terms of prison cells, money, guns. All of these things seem to be a great power, greater than what you and I possess. But it's all about the mind, the body. See, the power we're talking about and focusing on is dealing with the body. What happens to the body? See, the mind can control the body. And when the mind is free, the body is free. The slave disappears when Enlightenism appears. When Enlightenism appears in your life, then you know that there is a greater power in you. Do you know the greater power in you, or is something you heard about? Enlightenism is to move beyond the hearsay information. See, hearsay information is very dangerous to any individual because you're listening to what somebody else said, what somebody else said. See, history and spiritual history, scientific history, whatever, is merely an interpretation of someone else's beliefs. It's just an interpretation of what happened in the past. Then it becomes, for us, we began to believe the interpretation of someone else. And this interpretation goes from one generation to the next. And then it becomes a certainty, a spiritual certainty, that it actually happened. That things actually happen the way people have told us they happen. Hearsay information. So if someone believes that God created heaven and earth in 7 days. Well, now who said it? Moses. Plain and simple. Now don't get upset about it. Because if you want to wake up your mind, this is not an attack on your faith. This is information to enlighten the mind to understand what the faith is about. See, when we know what the faith is about, we go beyond all of the platitudes about things unseen. Then you understand that the faith is about hearsay information. Because I ask you today, do you know the greater power in you? And do you have a relationship with yourself that you trust yourself enough to let go of the hearsay information that you have heard about who you are? But all of this stuff about race and color and gender and all of these things that people tell you about, even age. So everyone has a criteria of how we should live, how we should look, how we should think because of our age. And that is mythology. It's a myth. What ages you, the individual, is your mind. Buying into the beliefs of someone else. Spiritual hearsay information about the greater power limits you to, and me and others, to dependency upon the information. Enlightenism is a new way to think and live, to go beyond the information. Sister Carolyn told you a little bit about checking this book out, Enlightenism. What we're doing with Enlightenism is the work. We could be watching television every day. We could be working and talking about other people on a job, about how terrible life is. We could be carried away with what the news media is saying, that we have chosen a certain channel or something to get our information from. Fox, MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, or whatever. And then we think that's the real truth about what's happening in the world. It's what's happening, what people want you to know in the world. But what's happening in your life? How has your life changed since the election? What happened before the election? What's happening now? Have you learned to have compassion for yourself and for others? Do you have a greater love for yourself, a greater understanding about your spirituality? None of that has changed. And the reason it's not changed because that's not what politics is about. Politics is about things in the external world. We're talking about things in the internal world, in the mind. We're talking about understanding faith, understanding forgiveness, understanding compassion, understanding power and clarity, and understanding who you are aware of being. And connecting all of this together so that you can get to a place where you firmly know and understand. I am greater than the I that I created. I am greater than the person that I created based upon spiritual hearsay information from others. That's what this is about. Now you can say you disagree with me or you agree with me. It doesn't matter. Whether you agree or disagree with me is not going to change your life. I am not the problem in your life. Society is not the problem in your life. The problem is you, the individual who have some beliefs to judge whether you agree or disagree with me, rather than understand or agree or disagree with some politician. The judgment that we're using to agree or disagree is coming from hearsay information. And when you understand and know, see, some people think, well, I've been sitting in church for all of my life. I've been loyal to God. I've tried to have great, a virtuous life and follow the commandments and everything. And then there's one simple question someone asked the other day. Do you know God? Do you know the God in the world? So you've heard a lot about it, but what do you know? What do you know about this power in your life? What do you know about it? And that's the question. What do you know about yourself? Who are you aware of being without the hearsay information? What does this power mean to you? It's freedom. It's the ability to overcome the conditions in your life, the current conditions in your life. To understand that you created these conditions in your life today, whatever they are, based upon your beliefs and your trust in other people to tell you what the truth is, because why else are you seeking information? Is it to improve you or to prove to someone else that you know what's going on in the world? This is not about the world, it's about you. And overcoming the pain, forgiveness, compassion, power, clarity. These are the things that will bring the peace and fulfillment in your life. And when these things happen in your life, then you will understand why we are doing what we are doing. Sister Carolyn and I, why we are doing it, and not talking to you, trying to tell you what to do, but to share some information that we believe can guide you into yourself so that you will know the power within you exists. Absolutely. And this greater power is not coming from hearsay information, it's coming from self-discovery. Absolutely. Something you have discovered for yourself. You know it. And when you know it, folks, then you will know, as we know, the greater power is within you. The greater power is within you. And when you know that for yourself, then you will know that all of the news that you need to get comes from within you. And that news is not hearsay. It's not commercial news. This is the news that you are greater than the person that you're aware of being today. Absolutely. Thank you, folks, for stopping by. I'm Brother Malcolm.
I'm Sister Carolyn.
Check us out again. Enlightenism is a new way to think and live.
Thanks for listening.